Hey, how's it going? This is Enrique, and this is Easy Things to Draw. First off, right off the bat, thank you so much. I hit 100K, and I never ever thought I would hit 100K followers, 100,000. That's amazing. I appreciate every single one of you guys that kind of was here on and off or stuck around. Uh, yeah, it's kind of surreal actually. When I started this, I never thought I'd get beyond like 10,000 or something. Not even that. I don't think I think when I first started this channel, I was trying so hard to get to 1,000. Like, I mean, I had a friend who had like 700 followers, and I was like, man, give me a shout out. I was so obsessed with getting over 1,000. So yeah, it's crazy. Um, so what is this? This is a podcast that I run probably once a year. I got to do this a lot more, to be honest. Uh, but I'm gonna do it alone. I recorded one with my buddy Lyndon, but the quality was bad. So, and I want to get this out, so I'm just gonna record this on my own, and that's pretty much it. I didn't do a live Q&A, as a lot of people suggested, because a lot of the Q&As have to do with, uh, direct drawing related questions. Like I have to have like a drawing board there. This one I just wanted to make it like a meet and greet, like a talk kind of thing, and. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to go over in this next, I don't know, 45 minutes. What am I going to talk? I'm going to go over a couple of common questions that I don't need an artboard for. And maybe I'm going to go over 3 common questions I get. And then I'm going to go over the current state of the channel and where I want it to be. Then I'm going to go over the current state of my art career and where I want it to be. Then I'm going to go over the current state of my art skill and where I want that to be. And that is pretty much it. So let's get into that first part. Let's get into common. I'm sorry. So if you guys if that interests you, stick around. Put this in the background as you're drawing or doing something else. Maybe you're doing some laundry. Put this on. But if it's not, I get it. It's cool. This is a drawing channel, right? You didn't come here to just hear about the state of where I'm at art career wise or any of these things, but you will learn something regardless. But let's get started on this. So let's get into common questions, and these questions come up so much it's not even funny. I've answered some on videos, some I've kind of not. Like, how do you get good fast? I've had videos on that many times. Getting good fast, man, that is so. If I'm trying to add anything to what I already added to certain videos, getting good fast, it has to do with who's more determined and who's more open to criticism and who is not too down on themselves. It has to do with so many little tiny factors that aren't too hard. They're not too hard to do. So for example, if you're a fast learner but you hate critique, you're not going to get good very fast. You're going to hit a point and you're going to get stuck. And I've already seen that. I've talked about this. I do a lot of art shows, and I see people that are, 45 and been drawing since they were like a little kid, and they just straight up hit like this super mediocre, below mediocre level, and they just stay there. And they've been there for years, like 20 years. And it's because they don't take feedback. Their ego's out of their too much. Way too much, and they won't take criticism. But they're fast learners, so they've learned what they needed to fast enough. But then they never hit this point because they were probably making the same mistake over and over, and they were too stubborn to get away from it. Persistence. We were drawing like I somebody was saying like, how often should we draw? If you're starting out, I was drawing, and I think I mentioned this before, something like 5 to 8 hours a day when I first started, because I started so late. I started at 18, and that was just to get the skill. Just to get the base level, because I hadn't drawn really at all until I was like 18. So putting in tons and tons of time can do that too. What's another one? Right, yeah, like the one I just mentioned, right? Learning your faults, learning your weak points, attacking those, and don't be ashamed to attack those, because we tend to draw what we're comfortable with and we just stay with that, and that's one thing that keeps us in the same spot as well. I know I've been guilty of that. I just draw monsters and I stay with that, and I'm like, man, I need to learn to draw this, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So that's pretty much the short ish answer combined with some of the stuff I've said in videos before. Um, finding a mentor would be good as well. That's kind of hard. I find it hard to find a mentor, but it's easy kind of because we have the internet now and we can always just ask questions to people. You can ask questions to me, by the way, anytime. I've put myself out there lately a lot, in terms of like, hey, shoot me some questions, guys. Like I do that a lot now. I mean, you can, and you can ask me anything you want on my Instagram, So, okay, it was another common question. How do you draw anything out of your head? I don't think I've made a video on that, like quite exactly how I do that, but I would say I'll give you a quick answer here and then make a video on Patreon maybe later about exactly how I do it. And this is the short answer, right? You draw something. Well, let's say you're gonna draw a face out of your head. You draw the head. You learn how to draw the head. You learn how to draw the head from different angles, right? There's tons and tons of videos on constructing the head. Tons. And let's be honest, most of them are the same. I mean, they really are. Almost everybody, teaches the same methods taught since the Renaissance, they just put their own little twist on it, or they say a phrase that just connects with you and you're like, yes, you get it from that one. But you learn that and then you draw it over and over and over again. But I think what I do, and I think other people do, other professionals, they test themselves. They will draw it over and over again, and then they'll put that paper away and they'll put that picture or whatever, that reference source, they'll try to draw it without it and see how well they can do without it, and try it again. And those first few, like I remember when I was drawing like animals, like a tiger or something like that, or those are pretty painful without the picture. You're like, dang, this sucks. This is really hard to do. And you just want that reference source, and you bring it back and you see what you messed up on, and you try it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again until you can do it out of your head, and then it gets into your long-term memory, and then that's something you have to keep up too. So maybe you haven't practiced that like tigers in a week, and then you try it again, and you're like, dang, I'm rusty. So you kind of maybe look through some reference sources again, try it again, but this time you get a little bit quicker drawing stuff out of your head. A little bit quicker. Look at Kim Jung-gi. Is that his name? He's such a this wild artist. He draws line art, this insanely intricate line arts out of his mind. I mean, that's kind of what that guy did. And that guy did it to the max. But yeah, so I mean, that's the short answer. Draw stuff over and over again, then test yourself. But I'll make a full-blown video on exactly how I did it, because there is a methodology to it that I learned. But I don't think I taught it on the YouTube channel. I might have, but I'm pretty sure I did not. So like I said, I'm going to put it on Patreon because I think that's pretty important. And yeah. What's the third one? Third most common question. And I'm going to do this. I'm doing this off the top of my head. What's a really, really common one? Art supplies. Which ones do I use? I don't know why that comes up almost every video. I use Photoshop for digital painting. I use acrylic for practical painting. I want to use oil though, really bad. I want to use oil so bad. And I use pen mostly. I don't use pencil very much. I use pen. I love pen. I think it has this oomph to it. I use colored pencil when I do colored pencil stuff, or even just like a black colored pencil to do like a black and white on some of my videos, because it has this oomph, it has this pop to it that like is very similar to charcoal. Like really, you can get all these range of values out of like one thing, and I love that. Where graphite, you have to kind of grind that stuff in, and then it looks a little slightly shiny if you shoot it at a weird angle. You shoot it like you photo it at a weird angle. So I don't use pencil a whole lot, to be honest, which is weird, right? I used to use nothing but mechanical pencil, but that's currently what I use now. So those are the 3 common questions I get. Hopefully I wasn't like talking too quick through those. And hopefully those made sense. So now let's go over the current state of the channel. Current state of the channel and all my other channels connected to it, and kind of where do I want them to be, and we'll talk about that. So we just passed 100K, and we people that comment all the time and talk to me, and I'm pretty blown away by that. Like I said, it's very surreal. It's almost when it happened like 2 weeks ago, it was like something clicked in my brain. Like, whoa, that's real? Like, this thing I've been wanting to happen for years happened? Like, now what? It was really crazy on my mind. And like, I thought it would feel totally different. I feel great, you know? So what is the state of that? The first thing I did when that happened was I made the intros more dramatic. I wanted to make them almost movie-like in a way, like, or like documentarian-like, or maybe movie-like. And I was, because I think it's fun to do. I think it's fun to kind of intro the video like that. And I want to start peppering them within between the video. I'm trying to figure that out. And I threw more money into that, you know, with shots like that. So that's the first thing I did with the channel. And then I made the music a little more upbeat on the intro once that comes up. I don't want to change the intro. I do like the intro a lot. I don't want to change it totally, so I just updated the music. But I want those topics to hit harder, and I'm just putting more effort into kind of like the editing and more money into the editing than I did before. And I'm using the Patreon money I get to put into the channel and then make that a cycle. That's kind of what my plan is. It's already happening a little bit, so I'm happy. But the channel, yeah, that's where I want it to be. I'm gonna reach out to other channels a lot more now. I did a couple of collaborations, but now I'm gonna reach out a lot harder than I did before. I think it's time to do that and just reach out to the community. And another thing with that is I will directly give people a shout out that comment now in the previous video on the current video, and that's pretty cool. That channel is in terms of like the whole thing, I want it to be coupled with the website easythingstodraw.net. And easythingstodraw.net originally came about 3 or 4 years ago as just completely for SEO, completely. And I see this a bunch too online. Like, I'll see people with YouTube channels, and then I go to their website, and their website's worthless, right? It's just SEO. It's just articles on stuff most people are not going to read. And for about a while, that's what my site was, easythingstodraw.net. And in the last, I would say 3 months, I've converted it to be useful. I want that to be useful on its own. I want that to be a hub on its own as well, with different, I mean, it's got the same content, but there's definitely some different stuff. For example, something I literally added today, and you guys can go check that out. I mean, I would like to, is if you've never drawn a thing in your life, I made 4 videos of where you can start. Or if you've only doodled a tiny bit, because that's another common thing, and I should have thrown that into common questions. A common thing would be, hey, I've never drawn anything ever, and I am 28, or I am whatever, I am 18, whatever age. But the point is, I haven't drawn anything. Where do I start? And I have 4 videos entirely on where you should start, and I think would be a great foundation. One would be controlling your line. You know, your dexterity of your hand is a huge thing, and I do capitalize that a lot sometimes on my YouTube videos as well. That's such a core thing, because if you can't make your hand do something, learning stuff is just going to make it worse. I mean, it's not worse, but you're going to have this squiggly line, you know, face. It's not really going to matter. What you need is you need to be able to grasp on the control that you have over the pencil first, or during, you know, or progress them both together. But that's what the core first one is all about, is what is an exercise that I do to entirely create stuff. Like, what do I warm up with? These line exercises. Then the second video is very similar with curves. You know, how do I control curves? I do this. I just make a bunch of circles or do this. And I have a couple exercises on that. And then how do I think the third one has to do with line thickness. And there's a 1, 2, 3 rule, which I've taught a few times in terms of line thickness. Where should you put these thick lines? And this will also improve, again, your dexterity. This will improve controlling your dexterity, going over lines over and over. And I give a few exercises there, and you can also send them to me for me to like just look them over. And then the fourth exercise is a little bit different. It's about form language, and you have to understand stuff in 3D. So when you're drawing stuff, and I've said this, I think there's one video I made about this, is in the past, a little less detailed, but it was about this topic, was how do you start to seeing things in 3D? because you see stuff in your mind's eye and you start drawing, and stuff just comes out horrendously flat when you first start drawing, even into intermediate stage sometimes. How do you become more? How do you get your mind's eye to picture this item in 3D more? Because in my opinion, and I've said this before, that's what separates the total beginner from the intermediate. Would be that one thing. If I, sometimes it would be that one thing. Obviously, it's a bunch of stuff, but their ability to see stuff in 3D, and they put this little extra curve into their drawing, this little extra oomph to it, that you can tell they're thinking about the other side of that object, and that line will meet up, and it just makes sense to a viewer. It'll make subconscious sense to a viewer. It'll be like, oh, it looks like it's there, kind of. So that would be that third one. How do you start even remotely thinking like that? That's what that fourth exercise is about. And those are the only 4 exercises I have so far, purely on starting from complete and utter scratch. They're free. They're on the site. Go check them out. easythingsdraw.net. What else is there? So that would be that website. Another thing I'm planning to do on that site, which I'm really excited about, I'm actually kind of giddy about, is I'm going to do a really big anatomical, like anatomy program on there. And I want to have a cool menu of like where you click stuff, like they have the human body. You just click on, let's say, the deltoid, and it'll be a video entirely about the deltoid that'll pop up on, So I got stuff like that. That one is probably, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to do that one, because that one's gonna be a huge project. But I'm down to do it, and I'm excited to do it. But obviously, I'll be updating you guys on that. But yeah, I want that site to be a true resource. I put my favorite books on there. I put books on there that I think are must-haves for anybody drawing, like anybody new, or anybody even intermediate, or anybody in general who draws. There's 5 books on there I think are amazing, that are like so core to my drawing. There is one book on there that I found out is out of print and now is ridiculously expensive, so I'm probably gonna have to interchange that book, because it's not practical to have that on a, buy these books. That's not practical. So I'm probably gonna have to cut that one out. I guess it's like $100 something now. I wanted all the books to be like $20 or something, or like used 15 kind of thing. You can find it easy. I was just checking the mic. But yeah, that's what I want that website to be, and I'm pretty much working hard on it. And I'm working on I'm working with a buddy, and he's kind of correcting me on stuff in terms of what I would need to do, like from a mechanical standpoint, from a website standpoint. But yeah, other than that, what else do I have? The Instagram, something big. That's okay. So I'm a natural introvert. I have extrovert qualities. I will say hi to people. I will attempt to go up to people and talk to them sometimes. But I mean, at my core, if I was just to do my own thing, I'm very much an introvert. I'm very much an introvert, and it is kind of. I started the YouTube channel as a way to escape. I didn't want to become an art teacher and teach stuff in real life. I wanted to just, show the video and you watch it and you just do your thing. You just do your thing. And so, I've never really spoken directly to people who follow me or like my drawings and stuff like that. And I've only started doing that the last few months. I kind of did it loosely before, but it was recommended to me through a friend to do that as a kind of a spiritual exercise, to just, I'll feel better about it. It'll be, it'll tie stuff together more. And that is pretty much what I started doing. On Instagram, I've started conversations with people that follow me, and I've had an amazing experience. I've talked to some people on YouTube, but I know the it's harder to message people on YouTube for some reason. It's harder to find the messages. But yeah, it's been amazing speaking to people, and it's cool because now I'll recognize some people's art based on their name. Like I can see their art and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's blah, blah, blah. Or, Matt Marshall or somebody like that, or Crafty Cat, or, people just, like, I'll know who people are now. It's kind of cool. And that's just literally something I started doing, and hopefully I do it more. Maybe one day I'll do like a gathering or something if this, if this like relatively small YouTube channel becomes bigger, maybe I'll probably do like a gathering. What else is going on? Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought, guys. My Patreon is pretty much something I started 2 weeks ago. I literally had it 3 years ago, never touched it, never worked on it. And what would happen, like, I don't know, like 2 years ago, somebody would sign up and be like, oh, I'm giving some money. And then all of a sudden, like, they drop off because they realize, like, I haven't updated anything in a year or two. But in the last 2 weeks, I've literally worked on that every single day. And it's something I'm growing and improving, and I'm literally going to throw my heart into that. So that's my 3 core right now that I'm working on and throwing myself into is my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and my Patreon. Especially my Patreon. I've been posting on it every day, and I want to post ebooks I've never posted anywhere there. Like how to draw a skull. I have an ebook on that, and that's pretty much like the minute somebody gives like $2, they'll get that ebook. I want to start giving stickers of the month. I already give tutorials there that don't exist that for free that I normally sell. For example, like the how to draw hair tutorial, or the how to teach yourself to draw. Like more art advice. That's there. And yeah, that's something I want to grow, and I'm gonna grow. In terms of like community wise, I really want to make that a thing. And that's another way I post daily stuff there. I don't post on Instagram, and I also post challenges to myself. I'll probably do group challenges as well, but challenges to myself. And I'm gonna talk about that in a bit. Actually, I'll talk about it right now. So the next topic would be like, terms of like my career goals in art, where I am and where I want to be, and my kind of art goals, like my just straight up art in general, and where I want to be. In terms of like my career, I'm doing pretty good. I feel pretty nice. I'm doing commissions constantly, so I like it. I mean, I like it a lot, but I would like a more steady stream of commissions. So for example, somebody gives me an entire card game package to do, and I do tons of them. That'd be better. Instead of just right now, I'm doing a lot of one-off like book covers and stuff. Then, that's kind of where I want to be. In terms of my art skill, I really, really want to do more scenery, and I want to complete more work. Sometimes I just have a hard time completing work, and I made a whole video on that. In terms of like long-form colored work, because it just takes so much time. I'm trying to draw women better. That's a huge thing. I draw women adequately, but I want to draw them really dang good, and I noticed that I don't currently, so I am pushing myself to do that. And one of the ways I'm doing that is holding myself accountable through my Patreon. So I'm posting a line art of a girl every single day for 30 days. So that's what I mean by personal challenge. That is my challenge, and people there will see my pain and hopefully learn from it. And I think it's inevitable they will learn from it. And that's like a little like bonus as well. They will see my struggle. I'm on day 2 right now, and I'm going to do day 3, and it'll be fun. It'll be exciting. And yeah, that's a thing. I want to push myself to draw that women a lot better. And that's kind of it, I think. How long was this? Oh man, 20 minutes? Dang, I thought I was going to be going on for 40 minutes. That was short. Yeah, I guess it's a little different with other people. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening to me. I am very touched that for people that respond and comment on things, and anybody that follows me either on Patreon or here or has ever followed me before. It's great. And hopefully I'll maybe meet some of you guys one day. But yeah. Yeah, what was the phrase I do? Stay pencil sharp, guys. See you later.